G'day guys, TropicalHD here, bringing you another episode of my City Skylines series. Welcome to anybody who is hearing my voice for the very first time. This is the city of Springwood, and I am TropicalHD. And welcome back to anybody who's been following the series so far. It's been so great seeing the channel start growing, people subscribing and people liking and commenting and following. It's awesome. So thanks so much. It's very encouraging. An apology to anybody who hates 80s music. That intro was probably torture, but kind of torture on purpose. 80s is the theme for this channel, for this series I should say, and that intro just felt right, and it was so much fun to make. So sorry if 80s music isn't to your liking, but that was too much fun. The theme for the city is, of course, 1987, and you're probably wondering, what does that mean for the city? Well, I'll explain a little bit more about that in the time-lapse, as well as going through a bit more commentary, which has been requested from a lot of people, which I'm more than happy to give. Just prepare yourself for a lot of ums, a lot of but-ums, and an annoying Australian accent. This will be my first time talking for a long time, so buckle up. For this build, we will be finishing off the dock, putting in a lot of warehouse space, and putting in a park. So the pictures we're looking at today for this build are from the Brooklyn area, and in particular I'm looking at the industrial space around the water. What I love about this area, it looks like it was once a very bustling, active industrial area, maybe like in the 20s, but as the city starts to expand, industrial gets pushed out of the city and these areas become abandoned and kind of like prime residential property areas. And there's a city on like a lot of space, as you can see, lots of concrete, taking up crazy amounts of space. So a lot of these areas are now abandoned and almost in the process of becoming residential. Maybe not so much in the 80s, maybe that's for like, you know, these days, but in the 80s they're probably very much abandoned. I'll also be sticking in this kind of like strange looking park that's almost like it was once a wasteland or a dock or something like that, but has been turned into like a recreational area, soccer fields, basketball fields, baseball fields. But I also want to go for that, see how we have those soccer fields that have been really worn down and used. I want to be achieving that sort of a look. Also going for like this strange beach that I really love. I really love these old barges sitting there, so I might try and put something like that in. And the warehouse space, like old, low, and I don't know, just kind of like, I really love this sort of area, so I want to try and achieve something like that. Anyway, let's get into the build. So if you're new to my channel, you can see on the left we built in episode number 1 like a fish market and like just a bit of a, almost like it was kind of already been turned into a useful space. So it probably wasn't always a fish market, but now is. So yeah, you might see over there, and I'll show you a little bit more in the live builds. But yeah, I've got like a bit of a fish market over there. So that turned out pretty cool. As you can see, I'm trying to figure out just like placing some buildings and just playing with the different shapes, and also doing quite a lot of clipping because I find it really useful when you clip some buildings together, and especially when they don't properly fit. So I've just been kind of just experimenting by clipping some different warehouses and office spaces, and as you can probably tell, I've used the Rico mod to like, yeah, so I've Rico'd a lot of vanilla buildings so that I can place them wherever I like, rather than just waiting for them to spawn. I find that a lot of the vanilla buildings are actually really like interesting and like really great. Some of them are terrible, but I like a lot of them. But I always found it really frustrating waiting for them to pop up. So I've Rico'd a bunch of them, and then I can just place them wherever I like. It also kind of saves a lot of space in your like mods and asset collection. I've found that when I started culling a lot of my assets, my game started running a lot faster. So and that's helped a lot because they already exist in the game. So that's just a little technique if you're running out a bit of space. I'm currently sitting at about 950 mods and assets, which is heaps, but like I've culled about 400 of them in the last 3 weeks, and I've noticed a huge difference. So for this dock, it's not actually practical. Like no ships come in, but yeah, I think it's fine. Like I like the way it kind of turned out just by placing those props down there. For the practicality of this dock, I don't really know. I guess it just brings in regular shipping containers, but I was just kind of looking at some pictures, and particularly that first one that we looked at for the Brooklyn, like in Brooklyn. I felt like I was trying to go for something like that, but yeah, obviously trying to make it my own and fit it into that space. So as you can see, it's really useful having tools like Move It. Like I don't know how I used to build without it. It's helped so much, and even like being able to place props. It's like I know a lot of the other YouTubers talk about it, but like I don't know. I probably would have given up on the game a long time ago if we didn't have that, you know, ability to move tools and like move buildings and place props. It's changed it so much. As you can see, I've got the way I've placed the key, I guess. I've got a lot of cars kind of parked, like vanilla cars just parked around on the road, and which was really bugging me. But what I did, and I don't do it in this build, but I actually just demolish the connection to the road, so then the cars can't actually drive up along it, because those keys are actually parks, so all the cars go and visit them. So I've just deleted that access for them and stopped them from driving along, because it was a bit unrealistic, so I got rid of that. Also, like, because there's a bit of a color difference between the key and the concrete, it kind of goes from dark to quite light. I've been placing these shipping containers along there because I noticed that that's something that they do in RL. So I've started doing a bit of that just to kind of blend it in a little bit more and cover up some of there's some benches and lights that sit on there too. So I've just been putting them there just to cover them up. While I'm just placing down these props, I just want to give a quick shout out. I've only really been doing this for about 2 weeks, and like I've had so much help from I'll try and say the name right, but Skibitth has been helping me out so much, and I've been following him for ages before I even started doing YouTube. So and he makes such awesome stuff. So, and he's such a great guy and really great YouTuber, and speaks far better English than I do. So go and check him out. I left his description down there. And also the Verexus has been helping me out heaps, and just by following him. So go check him out. He's also does awesome builds, and he's really funny. So go check those two builders out. They're really great. Yeah, as you can see, I'm just placing down just some different decals to kind of cover up a lot of that concrete space. Like I said, there is a lot of concrete in these industrial areas, but like in City Skylines, it makes it like having too much concrete really, I don't know, it's just too grey. So I've just been trying to play with a lot of decals and dirty it up a little bit. And I do go pretty crazy with these big ones, those big black ones. But like, if you look at those warehouse areas and those concrete spaces, they are really scratched up and really, really like broken, like really badly looked after concrete, almost like black. You know, it's almost turned like not a concrete color. So I just went to town with those decals. There you go. I got rid of that sunset for you. that was bothering me, so that's much better. Yeah, so yeah, as you can see, that mover tool really helps placing down those warehouses, and I've made those warehouses, they're growables, and yeah, I've just changed them to Rico. It helps so much, and yeah, I think it really helps to be able to put them wherever they like. And I've also been like playing with moving the buildings away from the road just a little bit further, because in the warehouse areas they do have more space, like the buildings are further away from the road. So I was actually pushing a lot of those buildings away and having more space. So if you're trying to play with your warehouse areas and modeling those spaces, then try just moving the buildings away from the road, and it really I feel like it really adds to the feel. But then you've also gives you more space to kind of put some different cars and props around there too. So I might talk a little bit about the theme. The theme is 1987, and look, I chose that because I went down the coast a couple of weeks ago and had a lot of time just to think, and I was thinking about the channel and the different direction I wanted to take. And I don't know, there's so many great YouTube videos out there who are doing tutorials and builds, and I follow so many of them, and I really love watching a lot of the big guys who do it, and they give me such great ideas. But I kind of wanted to do something that kind of set me aside from the rest of them. And so although building to an 80s theme does restrict me a bit, so as you can see, I've placed down some vanilla cars that aren't 80s cars. So I actually went back and deleted them and tried to figure out a different way of placing them down. But yeah, so it does restrict me with buildings. But I find that City Skyline vanilla buildings are actually quite old looking anyway. They're not particularly modern, and I do have some modern buildings, but which I have started changing. So I've got a couple of subways, and which the building shape's quite different to what the 80s were, and there's a couple of bookshops that I need to change, and so I will go through and change a couple of things. But what changing the theme to 1987 does is it I feel like it just creates a bit more atmosphere with this area, with this city, and it kind of gives me a bit of a playing field when it comes to creating cinematics and effects and kind of just the general vibe of the city. So when my channel kind of comes up and you kind of go, oh, I might see what Jules 20's up to, then you're thinking in that theme and you're thinking in that era. And the 80s might not be to your liking, but I think it's kind of fun. It makes it just a bit more interesting. So that's what I'm going for. Just a bit of interest and changing up a little bit. It mostly affects the cars that are driving around. And I'll be honest, that was my turning point. I really wanted, I was subscribing to a lot of 80s old school cars anyway, and I figured, well, may as well go all the way and just make it a different theme. And I was thinking what sort of era I would go for, and I didn't want to be totally restricted. If I did 1920s, it'd just be too old, and it'd be really hard to, I think, theme it out. But I think the 80s still quite modern, but also quite retro. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to be doing it, and I'm really enjoying thinking about that era. It's made me way more excited to build, and just the way I think about the different buildings and how the styles used to look. And yeah, so I've been enjoying it. So I hope you enjoy it too. As you can see, I've just started working on the park area, and I'm just playing with a bit of baseball sort of fields, and definitely thinking about what Flux did. I don't know if you've seen I'm sure you have, but he built a baseball field in Arrowhead Junction, and it looks awesome, looked great. So I was actually watching his video as I was modeling this, and mine doesn't turn out as good as his. I really liked the way his one turned out, but I was kind of going for, I don't know, maybe not taking up quite as much space, and definitely not very well maintained. So I was using a bit of that ground texture to, when I place that down, it gets rid of the grass, the grass spires. So I wanted there to be not as many grass spires around here. So it looks like it's been mowed, but also, also not greatly maintained. So kind of going for that. And that semicircle isn't straight. So, I also have to apologize for anyone who's OCD and looks at half the stuff that I do. All all my corners aren't like particularly that round or straight, or I know corners are meant to be straight, but like I just kind of go for it. I don't really think about angles and things like that. And the reason why I don't is because in real life, like, they don't. You drive over a highway or you drive over a junction and like it's not straight and they go up and down and the corners aren't even and it's all over the place. Like in real life, that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like a beautifully, I don't know. It's not perfect. So I think it's okay not to go totally perfect. And I think it looks more realistic, but whatever floats your boat, whatever you're into. I think I'm probably just lazy. Here I'm trying to model out the soccer field, and you see I start painting down these lines, and man, I regretted that as soon as I started. It's just not straight, but I leave it anyway. So again, like, close your eyes if straight lines are your thing, and evenness is your thing. But man, this does not turn out well. But I do it anyway. Actually, it's not too bad. It's not too bad for my liking. But yeah, we'll see how you guys go. So as you can remember from that, from those pictures we're looking at from Brooklyn, I wanted it to look like one field was better maintained than the other. I couldn't fit in more than one, so more than two. So I just went with just the two. I didn't want to make it look too squished in. But as you can see, like, I do zoom out quite a lot just to look at the whole build from a distance, because like sometimes when you're so focused on building and like you're zoomed in so close all the time, I find that my build can be quite like disproportioned from the rest of the city. Just like, you might build a park that's like 4 times the size of like the than like the downtown area, and I think you just got to be careful of that. So that's why I zoom out quite a lot. It might give you a bit of a headache, but I think it's important to check what you're building all the time and make sure it's not like crazy big or crazy small. And yeah, as you can see, really struggling with that. Like, I think it turns out all right at the end, but like when I started, I just thought, oh no, what have I done? What have I started? And in hindsight, I probably should have done a lot more copying and pasting with this. So, like, again, like if you're not using Move It, definitely get into it. It's so useful. As you can see, there's that little plus button down there next to my bulldoze, on the far right corner. And just doing the copy and paste really helps it. So I really could have done copy and paste there, but probably just didn't because I forgot. So yeah, just putting down some tennis courts. They, like, as you can see, I've got like a couple of different types just sitting there. That's just like, that's me like scrolling through the parks or like, the prop area, and if I see something like that, I kind of go, oh, like, I should probably put that in. I'll just place it down where I think where it might go, because then I kind of go like, because otherwise I could just forget about it. So if I scrolled past that tennis court, then I might forget to put down a tennis court. But because I've put it down there, then I kind of know where it's going to be. And I put down 2 different types because it's like in the back of your mind, and you just think about, oh, what am I going, like, oh, that's kind of sitting there and I might use it. And to be honest, a lot of my city looks like that. So I know a lot of people have been kind of asking, like, dude, where's the first episode? Like, your city's half built. Well, it's actually not half built. I've placed down a lot of buildings and I've made a lot of areas where I've kind of gone, like, I think that's where a suburb's going to sit. I think that's where an industrial area is going to be. But like, it's not perfect, and it's not to how I like. And that's why I say that this city is far from over. It's far from finished, and yeah, like, it's a lot more to do. I've placed a lot of areas down, but in my mind, it's just trying to get an idea of where I want things to go. These trees, I've changed trees halfway through my city. So I think it's really important to find a tree that you like and then stick with it, because that's the Like, you can't just go with, you know, and even if you like lots of different trees in your, like, in the asset, when you go scroll through the assets and you go, like this one, I like this one, you just got to find like 2 of your favorites. And I changed halfway through my city, so I'm currently in the process of deleting my old ones. And the old one I was using the shady bush, and not the shady bush, the shady, I think it's a shady tree or something like that. And it's great, like I really loved it, but like I found that it was probably too bright and too white for my city, and so I kind of felt like I needed to change. So I've changed trees, and the one I changed to, I actually can't remember the name of it, but if you're interested, I'll put the name down in the description. But yeah, so I've put this one down, but then I found it's a little bit too dark, so I've been kind of making it a bit lighter with a decorative tree as well. So I just put that guy in there just to brighten it up a little bit. Again, this wall is not perfect. just close your eyes, guys, if perfection's your thing. But yeah, apologies. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm just sticking down like a bit of a garden in the middle there. This like parking area is not going to be like practical. Like, people aren't gonna park there, but yeah. Oh well. Again, choose a couple of trees. So I've chosen that vanilla like palm tree look. I've chosen that big bush there, like that big tree, and shady bush really helps to fill in those gaps. I'd suggest using a lot of vanilla props, because a lot of vanilla items, a lot of vanilla props, and like choose one that you really like. Like, when I say choose one that you really like, so for instance, there's a I'm using a particular swing in this park here, but there's actually 2 different types, and you just need to choose one and stick with it, because then you can just delete the other type. That way you can save space in your asset collection. I can't remember his name, but when I was looking at, you know, improving my frames per second, somebody was helping me a lot with, you know, downloading assets and mods, and you know, and how much you can save by, you know, just being a bit more careful with what you download and what you use, and it's helped my frames so much. So I really suggest really being careful with what you place down and what you use, and just culling all the time. Cull your assets and mods. Get rid of things that you don't use. I'm constantly deleting things, and at the same time constantly downloading things too. So definitely not perfect there. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm making it, there's a park there. I want it to look pretty worn down, and I want it to look pretty used, but also pretty abused. You know, I kind of feel like the 80s, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I wasn't in the 80s for very long, but I feel like the 80s were a bit, I don't know, probably weren't as well maintained areas, and what I imagine to be a little bit more ghetto looking areas, especially for the cities, because I think more people are moving out in the suburbs at that time. But these days, like, cities are quite, you know, quite popular. So yeah, making these park areas look quite worn down and quite used, and not particularly too fantastic, but definitely areas of nice looking areas. You guys sick of my voice yet? You asked for more commentary, so I guess this is what you get. Well, actually, this is probably less commentary and more butt-ums and rambles and everything else. I'm trying really hard not to do too many of them. Anyway, as you can see, I'm trying to fill in those spaces. There's going to be a live build at the end of this episode, so I will go through a lot of the things that I might have missed. It's quite a fast one, but I do quite a lot in this. As you can see, there's a lot of space that's covered, especially when I zoom out of the city. You can see a lot of area that I covered. So I will go into more detail and the areas that I missed out, so you can have a little look. And there's also some things that I need to change just to keep it in that 80s feel and 80s vibe. And I don't really want to go too far from that sort of feel. I really love the way this beach turned out, by the way. it's kind of like a really neglected area, which is what I wanted to make it look like. And it's almost like they started making a park here and then kind of went, like stuff it, let's not do that. So pretty happy with how this area turned out. I think it adds a lot to the city, and it's a good transition from, like, kind of goes from industrial, park, and then there's weird beach area, and then the next episode I'm going to go into more like suburbs, but like it's kind of getting into a real strange region. Like it's going into like I don't know, like it's almost like a wasteland sort of suburbs area. I'll also take this time to like thank a lot of people who've been commenting. It's been really great, and it's been really cool to see the channel grow already. So like thanks so much for everybody who's been commenting. It's been really cool. It's really been cool to like respond and chat to you guys. I find it hard to answer every question and every request, just because like I'm a working guy. This is not full time, and I've actually been on holidays, so which has been really great. It's been really great to start the channel on holidays, but like I'm back at work now, and it's a demanding job. So apologies if I'm not going to drop off. Trust me, this is what I do when I get home, and I'm very much into it. But I might not be able to respond to every comment and question, especially if they're quite big questions. But I'll try my best. I really will, and I'm pretty committed to this channel now. Now that I've got an idea of what I'm building, and I can already see it growing. I'm very, very excited to, see this out and continue building. Yeah, as you can see, I'm using that mover tool again. It's so great just to make that car park, just to kind of make a random looking dirt car park. I'm using the minerals, what do you call them? Natural resources to kind of paint down some textures. You can see down in the corner over there near the beach, like a cracked surface there. It's I just use like a tiny weeny bit, so it just kind of blends a little bit, because like ground's not perfectly not bleached, but like very strong green color. It's like when you look from like above, like ground is like very like brown. So I've been like a search for ages and ages and ages trying to find the perfect textures, and I ended up choosing like a lot of them. I use what's it called, theme texture mixer mod or something like that, and it just allows me to mix a lot of different mods, a lot of different textures. So I'll post in the description the different textures I'm using, but spoiler alert, I will be changing a bit, because ours just released what looks like an awesome theme for Los Angeles, and I think it's going to be perfect. So I think I might change to that, but we'll see how it goes. As you can see, I'm using those dirt decals, really blending in those parts that are a bit too contrast too much with each other, like the different textures. Yeah, those decals are great, just really bleeding in those colors. I try those dirt decals in the middle there, but I think it's too scratched up. So I do change them. Yeah, there you go. I delete it. I will leave it there, and I'll let you guys watch the rest of it in peace, listen to some cool music, whatever I end up choosing to stick down on there. Apologies if my last video sounded like I was plugging or doing a bit of advertising for the last band. I just as a musician myself, I think it's really important to give the musicians appropriate credit for their work, especially that was free. It's free music that I choose here, and I don't just choose random any sort of music. I choose I spend hours choosing the particular music. So yeah, so I think it's worth mentioning, but I haven't chosen music for this one, so I can't even give them credit yet. So I will below. As you can see, I'm just fixing up my my highway. It's definitely, again, not a perfect looking highway, but I actually really like it. It's quite strange looking, and it's not even, and it's but it's quite flat, which is what I wanted to go for. When I say flat, I mean even transitions, but I like that it kind of curves off in different directions, and I'll Oh, okay. I'll stick a picture. There you go. Here's a picture of one that I was going for. It feels strange saying that because there's no picture there, but when I rendered this video, there is for you guys. Anyway, I'll stop talking and I'll join you guys back very shortly with a bit of a live build and to show you what I missed out on in this time lapse. Alright, see you guys. Welcome back, guys, and here is a city from bird's eye view, which is always nice to look at. And here's the spot where we were building today. So I just wanted to show you like just a city view of what I was going for, where it squeezes in. You can see I'm really keen to fill this gap here in the next couple of episodes, and then we'll move on. Some people are asking to do the airport, and others are saying to do other areas. So yeah, we'll see where we go in the next couple of episodes. But for now, that area is where we need to go. And let's have a look at what we built. Ooh, excuse the frame rates, looking pretty hideous. So this is the fish market we built in episode number 1. And I think it looks so much better now that we have some more buildings just to kind of, you know, help it out a little bit. I think it looks really great. You know, help it out. What am I trying to say? Buildings in the background to kind of flesh it out a little bit more. I think it looks way better. I have added a couple little things since the build. What I've done is I've also put in a police station just in here, cropped it inside this building just to hide it, but add a little bit of protection around this area because the crime rate was pretty bad. A couple of other things I've stuck in. I've put these tall office building things over here. I think they look really great. Like they fit in with a theme, very, very Brooklyn. But I think they're just a little bit too tall. So I haven't really decided whether we're going to keep them or not. But yeah, I'll think about it. But that's what I was kind of saying in the build, in the time lapse, that often I put down buildings just to kind of go, like I'll think about it, and I think about it, and then I might keep it or might delete it. I'll see how it goes. So some other things that I probably missed in the build, in the time lapse, is I clipped some warehouses in here. This is just kind of like a random dock. There are quite a lot of random docks around that area that, you know, you can't really tell what the exact purpose is. So I've just kind of put just some props and I've left this road in too that was like originally there for these keys, but I've just made it into a dirt road, so it looks like that's more of a worn down path. Over here, which I really like, but I'm gonna have to change these cars because they're vanilla and they look great and they're so easy to plop down, but they just don't fit the theme, so I need to change them. Love underneath these paths, underneath the road here. I think it looks really cool, just overgrown, really badly maintained. Over here, as you can see, I've got some abandoned issues, which is annoying, but it kind of does fit in with the theme. Over here, I've put in this dock and warehouse area over here, looking pretty dirty, run down, but I think it fits in pretty nicely, and it makes for a really nice transition into the park. So we don't start with the park. It is like this underpass that I really was thinking about. Like I wanted this to be a particular area, kind of like run down, cleared, but also like these underneath these pylons, that, you know, lots of trees kind of growing underneath, and yeah, so I've kind of made it so it's like fenced off. So we've got this kind of roundabout here, and like that's kind of like where the dock finishes. We'll kind of scoot over here. Sorry about the frame rate, guys. It is pretty bad, but you just have to live with it. Have to live with it. I've put this field here. It's like a joint 2-1. A joint 2-1. That's terrible. That's pretty bad English right there. And over here, I kind of made it like almost like it's not intentionally meant to be like a playing field, but people have been using it as a field. And here are some of the industrial area that's kind of maintained its spot. Really happy with how this park turned out. I think it looks pretty fun. I put these natural resources here just to kind of scuff up the playing field, and in particular, I'm really chuffed about this beach. Yeah, I think I didn't end up putting in those barges. I couldn't find anything in the assets, but like, yeah, I think these little boats kind of fill that gap really nicely, and I think it just works. I think it works really well. Yeah, let's have a look. So this underpass here, it's kind of like, I feel like it was like once a service station, and once a petrol station, and it's abandoned and fenced off. So this is like a makeshift fence, couple of holes in there just because people get in and explore it. And I've just put this taxi station here just for fun. I thought it fitted in pretty nicely. And over here, I'm really happy with how this warehouse distribution center kind of slotted in, taking up heaps of room. And again, like under here is just like a real waste of space, you know, like almost like what do you stick here? So probably this is still functioning. I have some really old school looking trucks here, but I think I might put a couple more modern looking ones because like these are pretty old, but I like it. Like I think they look pretty cool. But yeah, like I'm pretty happy with how this looks, especially with this signage. If ever wondering, what am I doing? Here we go. If you're ever kind of like looking for a filler, signs just make things look so much better. Like it just really makes it look more realistic. I've put some around here and over here, keeping with that 80s theme, you know, advertising smokes when, you know, like there's no way you'd advertise cigarettes these days. But yeah, like I think it really adds heaps of trash, just a trashed area. Oops, sun's going down. All right, that's better. Might just pause the game because I do want to fix up some areas that now that we're in the theme of the 80s, these cars kind of need to change. So, yeah, one other thing I'm going to do to tackle this kind of area is I might get rid of all these props, all these cars, and I'm going to replace it with something that I've just recently downloaded, and yeah, I'm going to lose some trees, I think. Yeah, so I'll just delete some of this, and I'm going to replace it with, need to kind of, oh boy, oh no, oh no, oh god, oh man, alright, well, that's just going to happen. I might just pause it. Alright, that's good enough for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this fella, I'm going to turn this fella off, I'm going to turn this, that's better. Alright, I'm going to put this guy up here, and this guy can come over here, and this guy, that's fine. And what I'm going to do is I've downloaded these parking spaces, and they can actually help to actually put the cars in that I need. And like so, and something. Right. Fingers crossed this will work. This is something only trialed in brain, not trialed in real life. Alright, should we have a look? Let's see if they start filling up. Oh boy, so we have only a couple of people using these spots, as opposed to a really full car park, which didn't really work out. Just didn't really go to plan. And we also have this bastard over here taking up like 2 spots, just parked, which, you know what, like, let's be honest, that's not very uncommon. That happens all the time and it really annoys me. I think maybe it's because there's not really enough around here, and people use this spot over here and this spot over here, so I don't know. We might need to think of another solution to fix this, but yeah, for the time being, yeah, well, let's just sit on that idea. Oh man, pulling off over here. Now, something else that I need to fix is this park. Oh, this park is looking pretty great, but there's currently no visitors. Like no one's coming to it. This guy sometimes gets people coming to it, but not very often. So I've downloaded a mod, not a mod, some assets, and let's find it here. No, that's not it. Oh, I know what it's called. Park people. Alright, cool. So what this does is, this is called Park People. Oh man. Park People, and what it does is it allows people to spawn into these areas. Now, the trick with it is, I was playing with it before, is if I stick it here, it's going to flash this sign in it and no one's actually going to come to it because it's not near a park. But let's use move it, because that's going to help us out heaps. So if we stick a whole bunch over here, and as you can see, they're not going to give us any grief. So I'm gonna chuck a whole bunch just there. And now they're paired to this road. So no matter where I drag them, they're going to always maintain that that's the access point, which is great. So I'm gonna delete. I'm gonna delete this guy. Oh. Deleting all my decals that I've worked so hard to place down. Oh well. So I'm just gonna drag these in places on the soccer field. Unfortunately, it's also going to attract just like regular tourists. So I will have like random guys with like binoculars and cameras around their necks playing soccer, which doesn't really work. But you know what? Like, it actually does make people kind of come to these areas, which is what we need. Let's make some more. So I'm going to chuck one in the park. I'm going to chuck one around these chairs. I'm going to put one over in this field here, over in that field, and they don't generate heaps of people. So, like, they're big spaces, but they don't generate heaps. So I'm just going to kind of drag them into places that I think people would kind of hang around in. Is that all of them? That's all of them. Oh yeah, over here. I'm also going to drag some over to this crummy looking area, and over to this beach, and any more? Some people can hang in there, and some people can go to this park, and that's it. And something else that I'm going to do is I've deleted those props that are plopped there, and I'm going to put these ones down. And what this will do is it'll have actually people sit down in those areas. And I think that's it. I can't bother doing that one. Let's put a barbecue down. 1, 2, 3. And that can go there. And this guy can go here. And that can go there. Alright. Now let's see. Let's have a look. Come on, people. Come to the park. Huzzah! We have people. Look, this guy's over here having a barbie. There's some people wandering around this park. Look, there's that weird guy that I was talking about with the map, just kind of wandering around. This chick looks a bit lost, just kind of standing around, doesn't even know what to do with herself. Let's see if there's people over here. Look, I don't blame them. It's not a very nice place to have a picnic. Anyone playing soccer? Come on, people. Oh, I did see. Yeah, there we go. It's just cool to see some people using these paths. It would be so lovely if there were some runners and bike riders. Ooh, bike riders. Yeah, maybe I need to stick like some sort of path in here to attract some riders or something. But I think if I do that, I might kind of stuff up the path a little bit. Plus, like, people don't tend to ride like leisurely. Like, I don't think someone's gonna take this path for no reason, you know, unless I was like a thing here, or if I hit something around here. I don't know. Like, have a think. Have a think about the sort of things that I might need to plop around here to attract people to come to this park. Because, I mean, I know it's not great looking, but like, it's gonna have some sort of use. And when I stick some houses around here and some shops and maybe something else around here, then we'll have some more people that'll probably use this area. But for the time being, look, it's kind of somewhat used. But yeah, have a think. What do I need to stick here to attract people? It'll be great to see like a few more people using these paths, and maybe people using these ones, which they're not using them. So have a bit of a think. I think we're on the right track, but a little while to go. Anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching, and all those people have been putting in their 2 cents about the city. It's been really great working with everybody, and yeah, it's been great. So thanks so much for everybody who's been commenting and liking and subscribing and all that. In the next episode, I will be finishing off this general area, finishing up with some like residential spots and industrial stuff that I haven't done yet. So if you want to put in your 2 cents, comment below, tell me what you think I need to stick in to finish off this general area, and then I'll be heading off into another spot, which is going to be really exciting. Anyway, for the time being, have a great week, and I'll see you in a fortnight or a week. Anyway, I'll catch you guys. See ya.